Welcome to the Salt Lake Center for Spiritual Living. I think I have my Center for Spiritual Living legs. It was weird having last week off, and this is my spiritual home. So it's really good to be back. And thank you for joining with us today. We're going to start right off by singing together. So we're a little bit biased. That's what we up here love to do. So we're going to make it contagious and have you sing along with us. All is welcome here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Broken hearts and broken wings. Bring them all, everything. Bring the song you fear to sing. All is welcome here. And even if you broke your vows 1,000 times, come anyhow. We're stepping into the power of now. All is welcome here. Escape, too drunk on love to hesitate. To the winds I cast my fate and the remnants of my fear. I took a deep breath and I leapt. Tears of gratitude I wept. I woke as if I'd never slept. I was welcome here. Your busy lives and your careers. Bring the pain you carried for years. All is welcome here. Freedom's not so far away. There's only one price we have to pay. That's to live our dreams till they fade away and let them go. Live our dreams and let them go.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living. My name is Steve Matthews, and I am really happy to have everybody here today. It's exciting to see all the faces coming in the lobby and having all the people here today. We're so happy and filled with love. So remember that throughout the week. This center is a spiritual community where all are welcome. Thank you for joining us here in person or online, wherever you may be. Our center is a spiritual community that teaches a philosophy for daily living based on spiritual principles and practices that are universal among all religions, which I think is really kind of a cool statement. If you think about it, I know lots of times I say it and repeat it, but to actually have this spiritual principle that works for everyone and is not exclusive is very special. Our prayer practitioner today is Teresa Martin. I skipped one little paragraph. It did say, we honor all pathways by which people seek to know the divine. And we work on our individual consciousness to help make the world a better place, which again is awesome. Our practitioner holding high watch today in the back is Katie Hernandez. Throughout the meeting, she will be holding our higher needs in prayer and creating this spiritual space for us to be together today. From wherever you are, I invite you to join me in stating our center's spiritual purpose. We are a thriving community where individually and together we embody and express our spiritual magnificence for the highest good of all. For the latest information on what's happening in our center, visit our website at www.spirituallyfree.org. I was looking that up this morning and I wasn't spelling spiritually right. I was only spelling it with one L, so be sure and use two L's. Today, our guest speaker is our lovely Melissa Montana, and we are also blessed because she's also our special music today. Yes, welcome. The affirmation this week is, I am grateful for the waters of life that sustain me, and that is also her topic today. Next week, we will feature Carol Kostick as our speaker, whose topic is, I embrace all of life, including the fuzzy, furry, and tiny, which is also great. One of the announcements this week, this coming Thursday, is our animal celebration service that Shanti will be leading, including candlelight vigils, music, and celebrating those things. So this week has that wonderful thing to offer. Are there any newcomers here today? Anybody who's here for the first time? If you're comfortable, please raise your hand. If anybody's watching online for the first time, we welcome you there, and we're definitely grateful for everyone here today. Let's give us all a hand.
And others in the audience who haven't been here in years, welcome to you too.
Yes, welcome back. One other announcement, we are looking for a new spiritual center. On our way in this morning, we actually drove past 3 different ones potential things that we took pictures of. So, if everybody is out there, we will be able to find a place that we can transition to smoothly. And I affirm that and I manifest that for us, that will be something that will happen for, the best is coming. All right. Our center is founded on and grounded in prayer. Prayer helps us deal with day-to-day issues and create positive experiences regardless of our circumstances. Our professional prayer practitioners are trained in the art and science of prayer and are ready to pray with you whenever you need. And of course, as you know, they can be identified by the purple stoles they wear over their shoulders. You can also submit prayer requests online, and the practitioners will hold you in prayer throughout the week. Now, I invite you to settle in and allow Teresa's reading and the centering music to take you to that sacred space within. Then Teresa will lead us in prayer.
Okay, today's reading is by a storyteller, and her name is Elissa Permain. And she says that stories are doorways. The Taoist story of the Rainmaker is a short story about a village in China where no rain had fallen for a very, very long time. The monks had tried everything. The locals had performed every ritual known to invoke the rain, yet nothing proved effective. Finally, they agreed to summon an old Taoist priest known as the Rainmaker to come and visit their village. He arrived, looked around, and then made a modest request. All he needed was a quiet house to stay in, a small garden to tend to, and to be given total solitude. And so the villagers honoured his request and left him alone. On the fourth day, the rain began to fall. Excited, the people ran over to the Rainmaker to thank him for what he had done. "I've done nothing," he said. "Of course you have," they said. They insisted. After 4 days, and the long-awaited rains came. And he said again, "I did nothing. Before I came, I was aligned and in order within myself. So upon arriving, I became infected by the disorder that permeates this village. Those days of requested solitude and the days of tending the garden were needed for me to restore my own inner garden. So when I was able to do so, the rain began to fall. I did not make the rain to happen. I only took responsibility for myself." This story is a reminder of the possibility and the power of a meditative call to tend to our own world, to calm the noise, to bring forgiveness to the grudges, the vitriol, the divisiveness. And we then create a hospitable place for peace to reign upon us.
In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said, and right here in this holy silence I find God, I find myself. In the silence there is peace. In the silence there is unspoken joy. In the silence there's release from a world full of chaos and noise. So I wait for these precious moments when I hear all that could never be said.
And as I go into that silence within, there is quiet, there is peace, there is unbroken connection to the divine. I settle myself into that peace and revel in it. I know it is where I belong, where I am truly myself. As the song just said, all the words that have never been said are within. They are alive inside. And in those holy moments, they come out to be said at the right time, to come forth with the voice of the divine, moving through and as and around us. So for the peace of this day, I welcome it. I welcome the silence within. I welcome wholeness, happiness, joy, wonders, delight. So in these spaces, I bless all who are here. I welcome each and every one. I welcome this music that shines within, that brings that soul element through us, around us, and in our space and in our heads. That music that echoes divine memories. So for all of that, I give thanks. I am so grateful, as together we say, and so it is.
All right, I found my power. It was lost for a little bit. I invite you to sing with us once more. It's a really fun, upbeat song. It's about nature and the changes that are always happening and always change for the better. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's my pleasure to introduce our special music today. And this is really hard for me because I'm her husband and we've known each other for a while. And
You can just say, she's awesome.
I'm just gonna say she's awesome. Yeah. Melissa Montana, wonderful songwriter and singer, and I'm gonna ask her if she would introduce this song we're gonna sing together.
Yeah. And for those of you wondering why the heck he called me Melissa Montana instead of Chamaigne Sharette, Melissa is my first name and Montana is the first part of my last name. So it's Melissa Chamaigne Montana Sharette. And then I always want to go, you killed my father, prepare to die. But I'm studying a special kind of hypnotherapy, and so since I'm starting a new business, I just thought, I just would like to have a name that's a little more easy to spell. You see it, you can say it, you hear it, you can spell it. So Melissa Montana it is, but you can call me whatever you want, just don't be confused if I call myself Melissa Montana.
And we're still married. So
Yes, we are.
hands off.
So this song, I've been thinking, I'm speaking today, and I'm speaking on water, and I've been thinking about that, and this song that I knew 30 years ago kept going through my head, but it was from a little small-time artist in Seattle, and I didn't know if I could find it, and it didn't make it all the way through cassette tape, all the way to being digitized onto my computer, and I couldn't quite remember all the words, and so I looked for him online. But he's become a big-time world-famous speaker now, so I couldn't get a hold of him. And but then at the last minute, Rick found my cassette tape in a box in the middle of under the king-size bed. So, yay! I was so glad, because it's an awesome song. Water of Life. Alan Atkinson.
1, 2, 3.
Look at the light shining off the sound,
The Puget Sound.
there's nobody around but me and this body of water, alone in a crowd of stars and stones and trees and passing clouds. I'm singing right out loud, sing up the beauty of this clean water, clear water, cool water, water
Thank you. Song, isn't it? Thank you for finding it, Rick.
It's my privilege to come back up to the podium. And once again, welcome Melissa Montana. Very excited to hear the things that she has to share with us today. Always love hearing her sing for us. And as we know, she's been with our group for many years. So please welcome Melissa Montana. Everyone raise your hands and shouting out welcome to her today. Thank you. We love you. When she was saying a name to call her, I love came to my head immediately. So we love you, Melissa.
So water. Long ago and far away, I was living in a little town called Fairfield, Iowa, which is home of Maharishi University and 2,000 transcendental meditators at the time. And one day I was sick and I ran out of drinking water and I was so bummed. So I went downstairs in my building. There was a restaurant on the ground level and there was a reverse osmosis tap that anyone could use. Things like that happen in small towns. And so I go into the bar, but I see some people I know and they wave me over and like, come on, come on. I'm like, oh, I'm sick, but no, sit down. And so I sat down for a bit and a fellow I hadn't met before offered to buy me a drink. I said, oh, no. Oh, please, come on, it'll make you feel better. Well, I don't drink alcohol. I just want water. And so he said, I'll get you a water. So he comes back with an ice water, and I start fishing out the ice and putting them in a bowl that just has a few empty peanut shells. And see, Maharishi teaches that you shouldn't drink ice water because it's a shock to the system. And so most people in Fairfield, Iowa, don't drink ice water. So this guy's looking at me fishing out the ice. Then he looks over at his friend. He says, Fairfield, Iowa has got to be the only place on earth you can go get a girl a glass of water and come back with the wrong drink. So there's 3 points I want to make in my talk today about water. 1, water is amazing, just in case you forgot. 2, water is precious. You may never brush your teeth the same way again once I get through with you. And water is weird. The strange physics of water might just save the world. So, water is amazing. Imagine the last time you stood at a waterfall. The water rushing past those rocks was actually eroding the rocks and pulling minerals out as it went. And as you stood there, water was in your body, carrying minerals to all the tissues of your whole body. Water is amazing because it doesn't just have 1 or 2 jobs to do. It has dozens of jobs to do, and all those jobs are necessary to make life possible on Earth. Humans are around 70% water. And isn't it amazing to think that all the water in your body has been around for billions of years? Your water, the inside you, has been inside rocks and plants and panda bears and dinosaurs, icebergs, storm clouds, and oceans. 70% of Earth's body is covered with water, too, but only 1% of that is drinkable. And most of that 1% is locked away in icebergs up in Antarctica. Anybody want to move with me? We get our drinking water mostly from streams and lakes and reservoirs and aquifers deep underground. The problem is we're depleting those sources, especially the aquifers, faster than they can be replenished through the natural water cycle. We tend to think that serious shortages happen in other places, like South Africa, where actually Cape Town had to actually announce to its people, we're turning off the city water taps in 2 months, and so everybody starts filling up their water bottles. We think that couldn't happen here, but actually in my research I found that there are some towns in the US that ran out of water. The city turned off its taps and never mind. They didn't turn off their taps. They ran out of their aquifer water, and then they had to start buying water from another place and trucking it in to the whole city. And then that source ran out. There was no more water to buy. And so people moved away. And that's happened more than once in the US. So what can we do? Well, if in Salt Lake City everybody took a shower just 1 minute shorter, that would save 500,000 gallons of water a day. That'd be pretty cool. That assumes that everybody showers every day. The man who invented online dating, when he invented Match.com, now he's in water conservation. And he says he wants to combine the two interests by creating a website where you can find the nearest person to take a shower with. So there's an option for you. Changing any habit is challenging, but especially if you're thinking you're doing it because there's scarcity and you're afraid for the future. And as students of science of mind, we know that our motivation for doing something is just as important as the thing we actually do. And so I would suggest that rather than thinking of water as scarce, think of it as precious, worthy of preserving. I think all of us in this room have probably heard an abundance teacher talk about treating your money nicely. Don't just wad it up and throw it in your pocket, Fold it out with the other bills and fold it nicely and put it in a beautiful wallet. Just treat it like the precious thing it is. I think that attitude transfers well to water. I once hired a kid to help me with a computer issue, and when he was done, I handed him a $20 bill, and he went, thanks, and he actually just threw it on the ground. I said, if you don't want it, give it back. I think if we have that attitude about using water frivolously, I think that Mother Nature might start feeling a little less generous with us somewhere down the line. When I worked as an executive assistant for a wealthy guy, it was a small town, so word got around that he was a wealthy guy, and he had people coming to his office almost every day asking for money. They didn't know that, the people coming, but it was every day for scholarships and, give me a scholarship to learn meditation and support my foundation and venture capital. I have this great business idea and I'm starting this new company. And he said yes, a fair amount, but he said no sometimes too. And those people would naturally grumble. He's got a lot of money. He doesn't know what he's missing. My business idea is great. But my friend boss wanted to tell them all, I have a lot of money because I'm good with money. I'm careful about how I spend it. I don't just spend it on yes, I have it, but I don't just spend it every time there's an opportunity to spend it. I'm judicious. And that attitude transfers well to money. We can be, to water, we can be good, we can be wealthy in water because we're good with water. I had a gal friend there that she'd get frustrated with her wealthy boyfriend for not spending more money. And her boyfriend explained, I don't really see it as my money. This is generational wealth, and I'm the custodian for a time, and it's to be managed well, and it'll bless future generations. And so that's what he was thinking. So his conserving money was an act of prosperity. He had prosperity in mind for future generations and security for himself when he conserved. So even if our individual contributions seem trivial, like neatly folding your money, what difference does that make? But treating water as precious, even in small ways, when nobody's looking, can help us bless future generations with water prosperity. Sometimes it takes just a little creativity to find new ways of doing things. So when I lived in Fairfield, Iowa, and my water ran out, I didn't mention I didn't have any water. It was an office building with offices and apartments, and I lived in an office. There was a bathroom down the hall and a laundry room, and I hauled my water into my place, and I built a kitchen without running water, just using a 5-gallon jug with a hands-free spigot. That's very important. And then my sink was a cooking wok, and it kept the dishwashing water nice and warm the whole time. It was lovely. I really enjoyed it. But then I thought I was so ingenious, but then I met a guy who built a cabin on his property that had no water at all. He trucked in his water, and he washed his dishes with a garden sprayer. You know, the kind you pump up and it creates pressure and then just a little spray. But it worked surprisingly well. It actually, you'd think it would be more time consuming, but it's actually not. So I thought, wow, then I started experimenting with garden sprayers and a hairdresser's sprayer. They work that way too, and olive oil sprayers so that it's food grade. And now don't worry, I'm not going to ask you to start brushing your teeth with a garden sprayer. In fact, please don't. Those aren't food grade plastic. But hey, if you do try it with a food grade one, let me know. But what was my point? The point of this story, there it is, the point of this story, we don't always need what we think we need. You know, our houses are set up the way they're set up, but that doesn't mean we need to use water in the ways that they're set up. There's a lot of cool things you can do, especially if you own your home. You can recycle your gray water, your bath water into the garden. And anyway, I just encourage you all to get creative, because every little bit helps. So that's it with water is precious. I hope I've persuaded you it's precious. And then water is weird. Let me persuade you of this. Some scientists now say that water wasn't on our planet at first. The planet was formed first, and then water came in on asteroids and comets from space. So you could say that water is an alien. It is the strangest stuff on Earth. It doesn't follow the normal laws of chemistry. On our planet, it should be a gas, because its components, oxygen and hydrogen, are gases, and they should just be in the air, but somehow on our planet, water can be a gas or a liquid or a solid. Another weird thing is that ice floats. Unlike any other chemical, water expands when it freezes, and which makes ice float. And this is very important to our survival, actually. The most important benefit we get from ice floating, of course, is that when you want to fish ice cubes out of a glass of water, they're right there on the top. It makes it easier. But a close second is life can survive even ice ages, because as the water forms on top, as the ice forms on top of the water, then it actually insulates warmer water underneath, where life continues and evolves and flourishes. Water is also gravity-defying. You might have seen on your windshield when it's raining that drops of water, they like to stick together. And so one drop might grab another drop and pull it up. So you might actually see water traveling upward. And it does the same thing, partly because of the same mechanism in our bodies to defy gravity. Our beating heart helps with that too. And also trees, goes all the way up to tall trees against gravity because of that. It likes to stick together. I'll tell you more about that in a minute. But there's actually 70 anomalies of water, ways that water doesn't behave the way we think it would for substances with similar properties. I read all about this in Michael Denton's book, The Wonder of Water. And it was like reading a textbook about ecosystems, and each thing does its part. You know, the leaves fall, and then creatures decay the leaves, and then the other creatures eat the decayed leaves, and it helps other plants grow and all. And everybody has a job to do. But water has lots of jobs. Water does this, and then water does that to help that, and then water does that, and they all fit together just like this. And every single one of those jobs is absolutely essential for life to be on Earth. It's really cool. Oh, the guy who wrote the book said it's kind of like, you know, we have other needs, like, say, clothing. But imagine that there was this clothing that drives itself to the mall for you to buy it, but it only drives enough of itself there for according to market trends, according to how much people need. And then it keeps track of what people throw away at the thrift store, and then it's like, they're going to need some more. So at the factory, it replenishes itself. And, water gives us a pretty full-service life support. But do all these water anomalies mean that water is alien? Not really, because it's everywhere. It's actually the second most common substance in the universe. And we used to be taught that water is only on our planet in our solar system, but actually they've found water on every body in our solar system, including the moon and Mars. Scientists are now working on using these water anomalies to find ways to desalinate the ocean in anticipation of future needs. And so thinking of water's weirdness, it likes to stick together and it flows all the way up trees. It does that especially when there's a narrow tube like a human capillary or the veins in trees. And so they started experimenting with nanotubes. Teeny, teeny, tiny little tubes. I keep picturing coffee straws, but they're really teeny, tiny, tiny. And when the water comes into them, it sticks together and they move faster and faster, faster, and they actually move 900 times faster when they're going through the tube than they do just wandering around. And then salt doesn't like these tubes. So the salt stays behind and the water goes through and comes out fresh. And by the way, that's the official scientific explanation, is that salt hates nanotubes. So if you put thousands of nanotubes together, it could make a great filter for desalinating water in the future. But don't let this hope for the future keep you from using the new Match.com for shower buddies, because that could be good too. So I will end with a story excerpted from this wonderful little book I found called The Sense of Wonder by Rachel Carson. Brene Brown quoted her, and so I looked it up, and I had to have the book, and I got the only original edition left on Amazon. It's a book published in 1965, but the text was written in 1956 and published as an article about how to help your children have a sense of wonder for nature. It was published in Women's Home Companion in 1956, and it's just beautiful writing. So here's some excerpt. And she's talking about helping her baby have a experience of nature, and I want you to imagine yourself, your inner child, nurtured that well. One stormy night, when my nephew Roger was about 20 months old, I wrapped him in a blanket and carried him down to the beach in the rainy darkness. Out there, just at the edge of where we couldn't see, the big waves were thundering in, dimly seen white shapes that boomed and shouted and threw great handfuls of froth at us. Together we laughed for pure joy. He, a baby, meeting for the first time the wild tumult of the Oceanus, and I with the salt of half a lifetime's of sea love in me. But I think we felt the same spine-tingling response to the vast, roaring ocean and the wild night around us. It was good to see his infant acceptance of a world of elemental things, fearing neither the song of the wind or the darkness nor the roaring surf. As Roger grew, we have let him share our enjoyment of things that people ordinarily deny children because they're inconvenient or messy. We have let him stay up late to join us in the dark living room before the big picture window to watch the moon riding lower and lower toward the far shore of the bay, setting all the water ablaze with silver flames and finding 1,000 diamonds in the rocks on the shore. I think we have felt that these memories would mean more to him in manhood than the sleep he was losing. He told me it would in his own way, one night after arriving for another long visit at our home on the ocean. He sat quietly on my lap for some time, watching the moon and the water and the night sky, and then he whispered, "I'm glad we came." The sense of wonder in nature is a recognition of something beyond the boundaries of human existence. Those who contemplate the beauty of earth find reserves of strength that will endure as long as life lasts. No matter where one lives, you can still look up at the night sky, its dawn and twilight beauties, its moving clouds, its stars by night. You can listen to the wind, whether it blows with majestic voice through a forest or whether it sings a many-voiced chorus around the eaves of your house or the corners of your apartment building. One way to open your eyes to unnoticed beauty is to ask yourself, what if I had never seen this before? What if I knew I never would see this again? Wherever you are, you can feel the rain on your face and think of its long journey, its many transmutations from sea to air to earth. Thank you. Thank you. And now let's pray. One spirit, one life. It's good to remember that's all there is, and that's all we are. And nothing testifies to this as well as water. We're one spiritually and physically. The water in me has been water in you and in dinosaurs. The water in me has been water on a comet in another solar system. We are truly one. This water that's been everywhere, that's most of the substance of my body. And my body is a community of beings. Bacterias and all sorts of beings with volition. I am a community of life. So why wouldn't it be that I am a microcosm of a macrocosm? That I'm a cell in the community of life of this planet. And this planet, a cell in the community of life of the galaxy. We are truly one. And so I affirm that remembering this oneness is just a thought away for every single person on this planet. And when we're in our oneness, we see everything differently. We see every life as precious, every drop of water as a precious gift. And we enjoy being stewards of that water so it blesses generations and generations and generations. What wealth! And what wealth we have here in Salt Lake City to be so near the mountains where we can watch a waterfall a 15-minute drive away. Or dip our toes in a stream. And what abundance to have water, clean water in our homes, in every tap. To take a refreshing shower whenever we need, as long as we want. And in that wealth, in that gratitude, preserving water brings just as much joy as enjoying how much of it there is. Gratitude brings joy to everything. For our oneness, for our planet, for our water, I'm truly grateful. And I know my words and my intention go into the law of life. And and bless the whole world. And if you're knowing this with me, please say, and so it is. Thank you.
I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I have. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful for all that I give. I am so blessed. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. I am so blessed.
Can I have the ushers come forward? Now is our time for conscious giving. This is one of our center spiritual practices, and I, with gratitude, am so grateful for the message today, for the music today, and always, and grateful for everyone that has come here today, because without that connection of all our spirits and energies, we wouldn't have that same experience as we do. We are so blessed. Please join me in reciting our giving affirmation. Divine love, as me, blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Filled with gratitude, I let this be, and so it is.
All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. I've been set free, I'm released. I've been set free, I'm released. The burden of my past has gone away at last. I've been set free, I'm released. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me. The light of love and grace shines upon my face. All that I need comes to me. All that I need comes to me.
We're going to have another special musical number by Melissa Montana, and I'm going to have her introduce this tune as well.
So when I couldn't find that other song I wanted, I started trying to write my own, because I just loved certain imagery in it. I wasn't making it. I handed Rick paper and said, "Here's a glob of words. Can you do something with this?" And so then he worked and brought me back something that was almost unrecognizable and really cool. And then I changed it again until it was unrecognizable again. And then And we just finally finished this at 10:30 at night last night and sent it to Leslie and said, please? So this is called We Are Water, and it's inspired by that other song and also by the things I researched about water for my talk.
Your power echoes in my chest. Your rolling waves match the rhythm of my breath. I am longing to realign, so I rest in the sand and sleep as I dream. The water in me remembers things I never knew. I've come to earth to quench the thirst of life, flowing in the knowing. We are one, and we are water. Sister raindrop, your glimmer twinkles in my eye. You gaze at me from the leaf, your leafy throne. I remember I am water, so I smile. Namaste. The water in me was once a raindrop too. I'm here on earth to quench the thirst of life, flowing in the knowing. We are one, and we are water. Brother River, your current courses through my veins. Your softness and your strength dance through my fingers. I am water, watching water. I sit in a patch of sunlight and stay through the eyes of a curious child. I see each polished river stone. Glad I came to earth to quench my thirst for life, flowing in the knowing. We are one,
Oh, thank you. Thank you. And thank you to Rick for the magic he can do with a glob of words.
That was fun.
And thank you to Leslie for singing and playing with very short notice. Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm glad you liked it.
And thanks for singing the heck out of that song. You know, Chamaigne, I thought it was so predictable that you had this analogy of water and the wonders of water and going to a clothing store. Out of all the gems you picked out of that story, as so predictable.
I even put a thrift store in the story. It's all part of the circle of life.
Yep. Can I have your credit card back? Well, thank you all for coming. A wonderful day. Have a blessed week. Isn't this amazing? We had such a wet month in August. How blessed we are to feel that nourishment of the rain. That's a good thing. It's weird. It's been like a monsoon in Salt Lake City. Anyway, feel the blessings of that. Feel your connection with the wonder of nature. And let's stand together and sing our closing song. And one more reminder, the animal celebration service this week, that's Thursday night right here. It's really fun. You'll notice in the back there's a lighted tree, and every month we pull that to the front, and it's filled with the names of dear animals that we're celebrating and remembering. That's just one ritual that we partake in. It's just an hour service, and we have such a good time, and it's wonderful to recognize those furry and slimy, wonderful creatures in our lives. All right.
We also, I realized this month, hey, this is why we do this every month. Our daughter got some bad news about her beloved kitty cat, who's really, really sick and won't be with us much longer. And so we do this animal service every month so that when that happens, there's a place to come and join with others who will celebrate your pet's life with you. Yeah. And then, of course, we celebrate all the animals on Earth.
Yeah, sweet. What a wonderful world. 1, 2, 1, 2. Everybody.
I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you, and I think to myself, what a wonderful world. think to myself, what a wonderful world.
You all sound beautiful out there.